Hello friends, I'm Sumit. In this short video, I'll be discussing about tsunami. Uh, Mainly, I decided to make one video on tsunami because I'm going to dispel some of the notions which few people may have. Uh, uh, like, you know, some of you may have this doubt that why right before the trough hits the coast, we first witness the waves getting retreated. Uh, this has happened every time the tsunami took place, right? Even in 2004, when Indian Ocean witnessed one of the deadliest tsunami, there was one girl. I think I'm not sure where she was. I think she was in Thailand or some other Southeast Asian country, and she was a kid. I think, fairly mature kid, who could inform the authorities and people residing in the coastal areas that see the water, is being receded, and it points nothing but the coming up of very high waves. So thanks to her warning, authorities could manage uh, the timely evacuation of people. So I'm going to discuss why exactly it happens. I'm also going to touch upon a few other misconceptions which few people may have. I hope like good people would be knowing that those facts. They would have no misconception. So let me waste no precious time of yours and straight away jump to the topic. So you see, tsunami in Japanese, tsunami means harbor wave. And why in Japanese? Because you see, generally Japan is one such country which has, you know, borne the brunt of this calamity quite often uh, in past many decades. Almost every year they bear the brunt. Now there is a good saying that Japanese technology has saved them so far because they have adapted so well that despite facing despite facing such high frequency of tsunamis or other tectonic events, they stand still. So yeah, so and there's a good reason for that because again, this is a topic where I can talk for long minutes, but for now you just believe in what I'm going to say, because you see, 80 to 90% of the tectonic activities, be it volcanic activities or earthquake, I mean the subduction of plates, it happens in the Pacific Ocean, in the edges of the uh, uh, you know this in the edges of the East West Pacific Ocean. So that's why since this one plate is ocean, another plate is Eurasian. So one plate is being subducted, and there's so much compression force. So that's why generally it is the Japan which bears the brunt. So that's why they say that in Japanese, since they call it tsunami, which means harbor wave. And I'm going to tell you why they call it harbor wave, because you see, this wave, this takes its intensified uh, you know form only when it comes near to the shore, okay, near to the harbor. So tsunami waves are generally identified only, generally, basically what I'm saying is that the height of the wave, uh, it gets increased only when uh, the waves reaches near the coast, right? So that's why it's called harbor wave, because it gets noticed only when it comes very close to the harbor. Otherwise, if some of you have seen this movie San Andreas, if I'm correctly recalling the name, in which Dwayne Johnson has been one of the protagonists. So in that movie, the actor was, I still remember, he was suggesting his partner in the crime that we should move towards uh, we should move towards the ocean, seaward. So why? Because tsunami gets more destructive as it becomes close to the shore. So once you go towards the ocean, if you go say 10-15 kilometers towards the seaward side, you forget about facing the destruction. You may not be able to even discern or identify the, that whether even if you are even if you are witnessing some kind of activity, because it will not be easily visible. And for the only reason, because you see, continental shelf, so basically this is the continental part and this is the ocean, right? So this continental shelf, it has a gradient, right? So once so basically, as the waves approach coast, it is going to witness shallow waters, right? So obviously, high waves are going to be seen only near the coast. Once if you are sitting in a ship, uh, there will not be much disturbance. But as the waves reach coast, the waves become more intensified. They would gain more height, right? So that's one thing. And most people have this misconception that there's a difference between current and wave. Current moves the water. Waves do not transfer the water. It is a transfer of energy. So even if you suppose you are sitting very close to a pond and you throw a stone, uh, or throw any object in the pond, you generally see the water seems to spiral out uh, in all directions from the point where the object is being thrown into the pond. So that does not transfer water, it mainly transfers the energy. Water remains there only. What I'm saying is basically, water basically moves in this direction. It moves in elliptical direction, right? Because there is a limit to the length of the wave. Okay, wavelength has a fixed limit, right? So so suppose I mean, basically, why we have a why I'm saying that there is a wavelength, because if the water is being, suppose if you throw an object into a pond, then just think, it's very natural that it is going to transfer the water particle from one end to the other, right? And then gravity is going to play its part, and this water mass, which has been transferred from this distance to this distance, which is a very negligible distance, it is going to go down, and it is going to go down, and then it is going to take this direction, right? This movement. So this will be the movement of wave. So wavelength would not be more than this much, right? So that's why we say that such tectonic activities only transfer the energy, they do not transfer the water. Whereas current, it moves the water itself. So that's one thing. Now the final question is how tsunamis, I mean, how why do we say that the water recedes before we actually see the high waves coming? Because I didn't find it. I tried to find a reason behind it, but I still till date I couldn't find a convincing reason. But I just have I have consoled myself uh, in accepting that this might be because of this reason, and correct me if I'm wrong. So suppose this is one plate. Let me read right. Suppose this is one plate, okay, and this is another plate. And for some reason, one plate moves up because because of because the earthquake activity has taken place. So this might push this plate up, and or consequently this push this plate down. In that case, this will look like this, right? Right, and because of gravity, the water will come here, and because of that reason, this receding of water or receding of waves take place. But it happens only for a few minutes because uh, again there will be a lot of disturbance, right? So there will be release of energy as well, and then that energy has to be released, and it will be released in the form of huge wave energy being transferred in both the directions. So energy will be transferred in this direction also and in this direction also. So that's why in next few minutes, we generally see the high waves. So that is nothing but a transfer of energy, right? And as I said previously, that as waves reach towards the coast, since because of the shallow waters, uh, the waves are bound to gain height, and that's why they become so destructive, and that's why they are called harbor waves, because they are being noticed only when they reach near to the harbor. So they could be felt only when people see the waves, high waves, which are visible only when they are near to the coast, near to the harbor. So I mean, there's a good possibility that if you are in the middle of the ocean, and still, since there's a good amount of, I mean, the water is no more shallow, so still you would see that uh, uh, you know, the wave with the height of waves would not be quite high to make you feel that you are actually witnessing a tsunami. So the speed basically, uh, speed is indirectly related. Speed of tsunami wave is indirectly related to the uh, height of the wave, because as tsunami waves approaches the coast, their speed gets decreased, but the height gets increased, and exactly the opposite happens in the middle of the ocean, where wave speed would be very high, but the height would not be very much. So that's all. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, uh, you can ask me, or if you have additional piece of information, you can share with me, or if you find anything wrong, you can again enlighten me. Thank you so much for your precious time.